Hello everybody, welcome back to Riola Sardo for the third round of the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship. We're at the MXGP of Sardegna, the Mediterranean island off the coast of Italy. Welcome to our live broadcast once again on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin. First race of the day, WMX Race 2. 20 minutes plus 2 laps. They've been out and had their sort of 10-minute warm-up, if you like. One or two just did the odd lap. One or two did 2 laps. Some stayed out for the whole session. But this racetrack that's 1,750 meters long was a real challenge yesterday, because by the time they had their first race, pretty much early afternoon, temperatures were probably at their hottest, almost 30 degrees, and it was already physically demanding out there on this deep, deep sand, energy-sapping racetrack. But today, temperatures a little cooler, and the track has been prepped, so maybe a little bit quicker, not as rough, but they would have still kept some of the holes. That's the wave section coming back towards the finish, 2-3 corners from the finish line. And you can see not a cloud in the sky here at Riola, and it really is a beautiful place indeed. We're about an hour or so north west of the capital, Cagliari, which is right at the southern tip of the island. And as you can see, riders getting ready to take their position behind the gate. And it will be Daniela Guillen of Spain, riding a first round this year, who goes to the line first. She was on pole. She put in a real fast lap, her final lap, lap 10. Shana van der Vlis goes to the line second. Championship leader Lynn Volk third. Then Martine Hughes, Britt Jans Bacon, Nancy van der Ven, Larissa Papameyer, Sarah Anderson. And then we'll have Amandine Verstappen, Georgia Blasik, Elisa Galvano, but not riding. A shoulder injury. She did do the time practice session yesterday, but the shoulder not very strong at all, so she's chosen not to be here. She probably won't be in Spain in 2 weeks' time, and she may be a doubt for Turkey, but she said she will see when I saw her yesterday. Shana van der Vlis, your winner from race 1. Picking up, well, taking the lead on lap 5 of 12. And that's now her second career race win. Lynn Volk, JK Racing Yamaha, extended her championship lead from 6 points to 13 over Nancy van der Ven, because Lynn Volk came home second in the race. Nancy van der Ven came home in 6th. So the number 85, Ceres 71, racing Yamaha rider, will be hoping for better luck today. As I was leaving the circuit yesterday, bumped into her crew, which included her brother, Renus. And basically, from the very first lap, they noticed that the bike wasn't running right. They took the filter covers off and all that kind of thing. Whilst it was better, it still wasn't perfect. So she just rode around the issue, got herself back to 6th. She's still very much in contention for the championship. Larissa Papameyer, who we saw there just a moment ago, she started 5th. She dropped down to around about 7th or 8th before climbing her way back to 4th place with a pass on Amandine Verstappen on the final lap. Sarah Anderson came home in 8th place. She was outside of the top 15 through the first few corners, so not a bad ride through the field for the Dane. Teams, riders, managers up there in the skybox looking on from above just to see any irregularities or any kind of differences in terms of gate drop coming from yesterday. You know, maybe it was 5 seconds, maybe today it'll be 6 seconds, who knows, from the time that the 5-second board turns to the gate actually dropping. Is there a difference in the nature of the ground? You know, is it heavier one side than the other? Different preps. Anyway, the Fly Racing 15-second board up for the final time this weekend for WMX. It's round 3. We are at the MXGP of Sardinia, and this is the racetrack of Riola Sardo. Gate drop, all eyes over on our left, the right, as the riders drop downhill, and Nancy van der Ven this time making no mistake. She flies out of the start, and Verstappen right there behind her. Van der Vlis there as well in 3rd. Lynn Volk around about 8th or 9th as she goes into the first few corners. Even further back than that, maybe. But it's Van der Ven who leads the way. Van der Vlis second. Verstappen on the green Kawasaki is 3rd. Then it looks like Guillem in 4th place in the red and yellow. Then TJ O'Hare, Sarah Anderson, and the 79, it looked like of Gabriela Sededos. So Van der Ven leads, Van der Vlis, Daniela Guillem, O'Hare, Hughes. So the two teammates from Honda 114 in 4th and 5th. Then we've got Verstappen, Anderson, Sededos, Gamond, and Lynn Volk. Not the start that she was looking for in 10th place. And we've got wave yellows over there as well. And there seemed to be a massive delay before riders came back over the brow of the hill. So we'll get a second split over on this part of the racetrack at the end of this straight here. But it's Nancy van der Ven leading the way at the moment. Verstappen finds herself up to 5th, Hughes 6th, Volk up to 7th. So Anderson it was who fell. So she had a good start. She's dropping down the leaderboard. So Sarah Anderson falling on the opening lap then. And van der Ven already making her break for it. But she's going to have the tenacious Van der Vlis right in her wheel tracks. These two will know each other very well from riding Dutch Championship, of course. And it's a 1-2-3 in the fight for the World Championship this year from Holland. Lynn Volk on 119, Van der Ven on 106, Van der Vlis on 93. 13 points separate first and second and third as we pick up Lynn Volk, 4th rider in shot here. Oh, the two teammates tearing strips off of each other. There, the Honda and Verstappen. Wow, big crash for Verstappen. Her and Volk look like they just tagged bars, and Lynn Volk has a problem. So there was a collision there between the championship leader and Amandine Verstappen. Verstappen has gone down hard, and Lynn Volk has come to a stop in the next corner. Disaster for the championship leader. She can't believe it. So whatever happened in the collision with her and Verstappen, she overcame nerves yesterday to get second, to extend her lead over her rival Nancy van der Ven, but she is not going to be, at the moment, picking up points in race 2. And that is going to be a massive swing in the points chase. Meanwhile, Hughes and O'Hare, 5.11 and 6.25. Both riders from Honda 114. Looks like there's a bit more moisture in the ground today. Overnight watering. And a heartbroken Lynn Volk sits in the final corner, trying to fire up the JK Yamaha. Door left wide open. O'Hare just too far and too hesitant. Britt Jens Bacon carves away into 5th place. Meanwhile, here we go with the 85. Van der Ven, then Van der Vlis. Daniela Guillen, fantastic ride for her at the moment. Still got medical flags down for Verstappen. Single file through there, as she is tended to by the medics. It looked like quite a ferocious. And there is Volk, and the riders would have seen the championship leaders' bike parked on the exit of the turn as they came through, especially the race leader Nancy van der Ven and Shana van der Vlis. Van der Vlis will move to 115 points if she stays where she is. Volk remains on 119. Van der Ven will propel herself to 131. So from going from 6 points down, she'll all of a sudden be 12 points clear as it stands right now. And a heartbroken Lynn Volk, consoled there by her dad. Get it. She can only watch on from the sidelines and see what else unfolds in this second WMX race. But an impressive performance this from the 255 of Daniela Guillen. Who was fastest on track last time in the fastest lap of the race, 2:07.2, a tenth quicker than the girl she's chasing down, Shana van der Vlis on the 188, that orange KTM, and quicker than the leader, who was a 2:08.2, Nancy van der Ven. So the gap being reduced at the moment to 1.9 seconds as it stands right now. Van der Vlis just bouncing away through that turn. Back markers on the horizon. That would be the podium as it stands right now. Van der Vlis, Van der Ven and Guillen on the podium for the first time. So 2 laps to go. As Amandine Verstappen is moved from the track, this is what happened. Riders 3 and 4 in shot, the Kawasaki and the Yamaha. They came together out of the turn somehow. Look, straight over the bars, hit the ground hard, did Verstappen. And I just wonder whether there was some front end damage, some spokes, or I don't know, just what was it that clipped the bike of Verstappen? Hopefully she's okay, of course. Nancy Van der Ven, I'm being told she is moving, so that's good news, at least. 2:06.9, Nancy Van der Ven, fastest rider on the track and of the race so far. 1.2 though, the gap between her and Van der Vlis now. 2:07.1. So Verstappen then exits the track. But all of a sudden, Daniela Guillen is closing in on Van der Vlis. And she's gone quickest in sector 1. 31.081 compared to the 31.9 and 31.7 of Van der Ven and Van der Vlis respectively. We've got waved yellows around the corner here as well. So we've got a rider down there somewhere, maybe just out of sight. Oh yeah, machine troubles there for somebody. And it might be Malu Jakobsen because she hasn't come around. Closing up though, the 2 Dutch girls all of a sudden race on again through this part of the circuit. So Van der Ven needs to keep her nerves in check. Easier to follow than to lead in this situation, of course, sometimes, unless, you know, you're very confident in your sand riding abilities, which Nancy Van der Ven is, but with pressure from behind, you just never know. They didn't completely groom the whole track overnight. As you can see, it's still pretty choppy from yesterday. Just more fluffed it up, if you like. 1.5 seconds further back, Daniela Guillen. Just losing contact with the 2 Dutch riders. Ninth in the championship last year, the Spaniard. 3 7th overall positions. 1 of those was in Belgium, Lommel, and the last 2 rounds in Spain and Turkey. I'm not sure if there's just 1 or 2 little mistakes from Van der Vlis or Van der Ven just turning up the heat a little bit here. But either way, the Ceres 71 Yamaha has pulled clear of the 188 on the Kawasaki, and that's on the KTM, and that's also allowed Daniela Guillen to close right back in again on the RFME MX Team KTM. So Van der Ven maybe just being able to afford a little bit of luxury, but then having said that, she's losing ground over on this part of the racetrack. Sector 3, 31.7. 31.7 and 31.9, so still very similar between the top 3 riders through that 3rd sector. But the rider here, 2:55, was the fastest rider on track last time around, a 2:05.05, so almost in the 2:04s. The fastest lap of the race so far. Five laps complete. 2:05.8, 2:06.6, 2:07.07. All of a sudden, we've got 3.4 seconds between the first 3 riders now. Down past pit lane, a shake of the head there from Guillen. So just losing touch. Not sure if the head has gone a little bit. Either way, she's going to be on the podium for the first time, though, in WMX. With 2 third-place finishes as it stands right now. 40 points, the same as Nancy van der Ven, who will take 40 points for second overall, with a 6th and a 1st. But it depends on what happens with the little tearaway behind her. Shana van der Vlis, 188, because a win yesterday, currently second. Here she is, second rider in shot. Can she make it a perfect double here in Sardinia? Lap 5 yesterday, when she took over the lead from Lynn Volk. We are in similar territory now. 1.5 the gap between her and van der Ven, as they're in amongst traffic, the 29 of Harkin. And again, same part of the race. Van der Vlis all over the back of the leader and ready to pounce. This time on van der Ven. Yesterday it was Lynn Volk. Just looks like she loses a little bit of ground, though, through that long sweeping left-hander, turn 15. Tries to rectify it by going inside there, but I think she needs to follow van der Ven over on that far side next time around if she's close enough. Might be able to execute the move through the waves. I think that's where she found her way past Lynn Volk yesterday as well, by the end of the straight. Anyway, 6 laps complete. A personal best lap for Nancy van der Ven, soaking up the pressure admirably. So the Ceres 71 Racing Yamaha, under the tutelage and the watchful eye of 3-time former 125 world champion Alessio Kiko Chiodi. Van der Vlis, one thing we'll know, in these conditions, she will not back down. And she will take the challenge right the way to the checkered flag. Bit of a stumble there through the corner. Oh, who's that down? Mattea Salebo. So Salebo picks herself up. She was in 10th place. So she was in 8th, yeah, because Blasik and Anderson have gone by, so she's remounting at the moment behind them. So we'll see where she rejoins. Mattea Salebo, 9th in race 1 yesterday. So just looking at the times, 32.2, sector 1, 31.7. Van der Ven and Van der Vlis, sector 2, 33.1, but then 34.3. Van der Vlis losing out. She does go inside this time around, though, but she's probably further adrift than she was a lap ago. Daniela Guillen still there in the background, trying to keep these 2 Dutch sandflies in her line of sight. But this has been a good second half of the lap for Van der Vlis, all of a sudden. A personal best in sector 3, a full second quicker. Over the line, though. 2:06.5, 2:05.9, 1.3 the gap, with 5 minutes plus 2 remaining. Yesterday's race was 12 laps. And the fastest lap of the race yesterday was a 2:01.8. So heavier conditions then today compared to what they had yesterday. So I'm not even sure if we'll get 12 laps this time around. Oh, front end just snatching in there. There for the 188 of Shana van der Vlis as she came into the braking zone. Had to use all of her upper body strength to save that one. A bit further back, Britt Jans Bacon. She's in 4th place. Martine Hughes in 5th. Where is O'Hare, actually? So she's still there in 6th place. But the Dutch and the Norwegian. What were the lap times last time around? Well, for Hughes, it was a personal best, 2:06.7. Jens Bacon was a 2:09.8. So it's Hughes very much on the charge as she tries to close down the Dutch rider, just like Shana van der Vlis closing back up again on Nancy van der Ven. She's trying to keep that momentum going around that turn 15, that long sweeping left-hander, but somehow manages to pull it back by the time we get to this Monster Energy jump, 2 corners from home. Just over 3 minutes to go then, plus 2 laps. The final race of the weekend here, the third round of WMX. The FIM Women's Motocross World Championship. We are at Riola Sardo on the island of Sardinia. 2 leaders coming towards us on the left side of your screen. The Suarez 71 Yamaha there, number 85, Nancy van der Ven. The 188, Shana van der Vlis. Championship leader, Lynn Volk, went out towards the end of the opening lap. She had a tangle, a collision with Amandine Verstappen. Verstappen went down. And it left Lynn Volk with damage to her motorcycle, which meant that she could not continue in the race. And the 13-point lead that she had at the start of race 2 has all of a sudden become a 12-point deficit to the rider in blue. And traffic getting in the way of Shana van der Vlis, and all of a sudden she has lost an absolute eternity. Has the race just been decided there with 2 minutes to go? Breathing space again for van der Ven. How much deeper can van der Vlis dig to try and salvage a race win and 25 points? Here's the battle for 4th place. Still no change between the 5 and the 5:11 of Britt Jens Bacon and Martine Hughes. So this is van der Ven just getting around the 2 riders in question. And then van der Vlis, as she went the long way round, she found herself behind 2 tail enders, right where she didn't need them. So a minute to go. So we're 3 laps to go then. And the gap, 1.9 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Green still 3rd, Jens Bacon 4th, Hughes still 5th. Wait for those 2 to come over the line. We've got waved yellows on the exit of the turn. Take a look at who the rider was that fell just coming out of turn 4 a moment ago. Oh. Bit of a flying W there. And meanwhile, Hughes has found a way past Jens Bacon. And this was the moment. Martine Hughes got to the inside of the Dutch girl. Takes over 4th place. .8 the gap, so inching closer to the rear wheel of Nancy van der Ven. Sector 1, quicker for van der Vlis, 32.7 compared to a 33.6, and it's van der Ven in traffic now. As van der Vlis goes to the outside, and it might work out for her this time because van der Ven not able to get on the gas as she liked. And van der Vlis is closing in on the 85 towards the end of the straight, and you've got to be careful there jumping across the back markers like that. maybe looks closer on TV from the angle, but either way, she is on the ropes here. Here's Van der Ven, because Van der Vlist, with 2 laps to go, coming out of this final turn, is right where she needs to be to mount that challenge for the win. .209.2 and a 207.8. Van der Ven goes defensive. Van der Vlist a little hesitant through there in turn 2. Just looking for something else, looking for that momentum that's going to propel her past the rider in blue. But Van der Ven, being very, very stubborn here, does not want to give up the lead. She's led from the very first lap. She knows how to win races as well. 17 race wins under her belt so far for Nancy Van der Ven. Trying to make it 18 here with a win here in race 2 in Sardinia. Lap and a half to go. More traffic on the horizon again. Dealt with perfectly by the race leader. And the back marker keeps well off the race line as well. Allows Van der Vlist to go through. Traffic on the exit of the turn as well. Every time Van der Ven pops up over a rise like that, sees traffic, her heart must be in her mouth as Van der Vlist. Again, hesitant there, but she carves away to the inside of the back marker. And she does like that outside, doesn't she? 1.9 the gap through the waves. Barring any mistakes, this looks like it will be Van der Ven's victory, because the gap now surely too big to bridge for Shana Van der Vlist with a lap to go. Van der Vlist, if she stays where she is, will still win the overall with a first and a second. Take her second career Grand Prix win. Has 3 podiums at the moment. A first, a second and a third. But this will be a second Grand Prix victory. But there's still just under a lap to go. We've seen how traffic can affect the pace of the leaders. And there's traffic just ahead of Van der Ven. Back marker stays well clear though. The 79 of Gabriela Sededos. The RFME WMX rider on the KTM. Her teammate Daniela Guillen will be on the podium, 3rd overall. Oh, not able to get over the tabletop there this time around. So Van der Vlist, despite getting right back onto the rear wheel of Van der Ven a lap ago, just losing time, losing touch. Although she looks like she may just be inching closer again, but she's got basically one straight going back out through the waves, the other one coming back towards the finish line. Van der Ven should surely hang on for a race win here. Still a late charge though from Van der Vlist. Still believes she can win it. 2 corners to go. Good recovery this for the KTM rider on this final lap to whittle down the gap. But coming out of the final turn, Nancy Van der Ven will win race 2. She takes her 18th career race win, but Shana Van der Vlist coming home in 2nd will be the overall winner here in Sardinia. Gabriela Sardegna, a lap down. We wait for her teammate to come through, Daniela Guillen. It's been a fine ride. Here she is out of the final turn, the second rider in shot. And she's going to be on the podium for the first time in WMX. And she knows it as well. That is a huge sigh of relief for the Spaniard. And actually, you know what? The RFME team that we've seen in WMX and the 125 European Championship, they are really pushing the boat out at the moment in terms of bringing on the next generation of riders to be the next Jorge Prado, if you like, or the next Ruben Fernandez. And it's great to see. We've had it in Holland for years, we've had it in France for years. Spain now latching on to that as well. And the dividends are now there for all to see. Kiko Chiodi just running across the track there in the blue. He's stocky Italian. Former three-time world champion, of course. Anyway, here is our overall winner, Shana van der Vlis.
Shana van der Vlis, you picked up a race win, a comfortable race win in that first race, a second in that second race. You ran out of time at the end there, but look, you got your first overall of the season. It's been a brilliant weekend for you.
Yeah, it's been a really good weekend for me. And I knew I liked sand, so I showed it once again. Second moto was a little bit tougher for me, but I did my best, and second was the best I could do. And of course, I want to say thank you to all the people who are helping me and making it possible. I really appreciate it.
Great job, Shana. Thank you.
Shana van der Vlis looks like she's about spent there because hard effort, hard graft, warm temperatures. Already into the 20s here on a tough, physically demanding racetrack. The only advantage being that born in the sand, lives in the sand, rides in the sand on a regular basis. She managed to find her way through it. She got a race win yesterday, and she wins the overall today. Give you the official confirmation then. WMX Race 2. Nancy van der Ven wins it from Shana van der Vlis. Daniela Guillen third, Martine Hughes fourth, Britt Jans Bacon was fifth, Larissa Papenmeyer, Talia Jade O'Hare, and Georgia Blasic coming home in 8th place. Sarah Anderson recovered for 9th after a fall on the first lap. Danny Gleason in 10th on the 125. Matthias Salebo, Sandra Keller, Gabriela Sardegna, Avery Berry in 14, Virginia Gamond, and then Barbara Agard Anderson, Alicia Reitzer, Fiona Hopper, the 24 of Leah Chaput, and the 4 of Gaia Frankie. And the overall belongs to Shana van der Vlis by 7 points over Nancy van der Ven. Daniela Guillen on the podium for the first time from Spain. Papenmeyer and Jans Bacon ran out the top 5. Hughes 6, Anderson 7, Blasic 8. But spare a thought for Lynn Volk there, coming home 10th overall. She was second yesterday to extend her lead. Went out on the first lap in race 2. She no longer holds that series leader's red plate because it's now van der Ven who leads by 12 points over Volk. Van der Vlis is third. No change for Papenmeyer in 4th, but Martine Hughes now up into 5th. Amandine Verstappen, we hope she's okay on the 9mm Bud Racing Kawasaki as well after her fall on that opening lap. And in the Manufacturers Championship, Yamaha pulled clear of KTM with Honda third. Kawasaki, Fantic, Husqvarna and Gas. No change in the top 7 positions. Go to the podium then, round 3 and 3rd overall on the podium for the first time from the RFME MX team. KTM, Daniela Guillen. 3rd overall for her, and she does it with 2 third place finishes. 2nd overall, the Ceres 71 Racing Yamaha, all smiles with a race win, second overall, because she knows she now leads the World Championship. She'll be taking the red plate to Spain in 2 weeks' time. But Shana van der Vlis, a winner from race 1 yesterday, a winner race 2 today. Takes her 4th podium, her 2nd career Grand Prix win. She leaves here 3rd in the championship. She was 3rd anyway, but she's closed in on Lynn Volk to the tune of 4 points now. So a little bit of drama here then in Sardegna in WMX round 3. Rosina Locchi, Riola Sardo sports counsellor, handing the 3rd place trophy, a first Grand Prix trophy to Daniela Guillen. Lorenzo Pina, the mayor of Riola Sardo, handing the 2nd place trophy to Nancy van der Ven. And of course, we couldn't do this event without the support from everybody here on the island of Sardinia, all the dignitaries, of course, and the FMI. Giovanni Coppioli, the FMI president, handing the winner's trophy to Shana van der Vlis as she takes her 2nd overall victory. Her World Championship is still very much on at the moment, isn't it? But just the one small thing of the championship leader's red plate. It arrived here on the front of a JK Racing Yamaha. It will leave here on the front of a Ceres 71 Racing Yamaha. Antonio Alia Portela, the FIM CMS director, will deliver the red plate to the new championship leader, Nancy van der Ven. After a disappointment yesterday and teething problems, she bounces back today, albeit with a little help from Volk, who was unable to finish a lap. Either way, there has been a massive point swing at the top of the table in WMX. First, second, third overall here this weekend. Then Daniela Guillen, the RFME WMX KTM rider, just watching how the protocol works out, because obviously the first time visitor to the podium for her. Second overall, Nancy van der Ven, a new championship leader, but your overall winner for the 2nd time in her career, Shana van der Vlis. We'll talk to the top 3 in just a few moments, but before we do, let's check out the highlights of that 2nd WMX race, shall we? WMX race 2 here at Riola Sardo. Nancy van der Ven making no mistakes, getting into the lead right by the first turn. Verstappen was right there in 2nd, van der Vlis behind them, and then in around about 10th place going through the first few corners, championship leader in red, 172, Lynn Volk. As everybody jostled for positions, the 2 Honda 114 machines were in there. O'Hare and Hughes also in around about 6th, 7th place. But this was the drama on the opening lap. Lynn Volk and Verstappen collided, catapulting Verstappen down the track, and then all of a sudden there was a problem for Volk. The series leader did not complete the lap. She was out of the race. Mattea Salebo, she had issues. She would eventually come home in 11th place, finding her way by Sandra Keller on the final lap. But the battle at the front was between 3 riders, van der Ven, van der Vlis and Guillen, but Guillen eventually lost touch. The battle for 4th place was decided when the 511 of Martin Hughes eventually found her way past Britt Jans Bacon. But final lap, final turn, Nancy van der Ven victorious by just over a second from a hard-charging Shana van der Vlis. Guillen came home in 3rd. But the overall victory then, in terms of the Grand Prix classification, went to Shana van der Vlist, a first and a second, Nancy van der Ven a sixth and a first-time visit to the podium for Daniela Guillen. And van der Ven leads the championship now ahead of Volk and van der Vlist. Papenmeyer and Hughes ran out the top 5. Shana van der Vlist on the podium, on the top step for the second time in her career, but Nancy van der Ven leads the championship once again as we head to the penultimate round in Spain in 2 weeks' time.
Shana van der Vlist, you came here needing to make up some points, and you've done just that. You picked up a race win, your first podium of the year, and your first overall. All in all, a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, it was the best race of the season so far, and also for me the best track, I think. So I'm really happy that I could make up some points, and yeah, it was a good weekend.
Okay, great job, thank you. Second overall today, we have Nancy van der Ven. Nancy, 2 different races for you. That first race, you really had to dig deep, had a few problems. That second race, perfect start, led the whole way. Great job defending that line to bring home the race win, and now the championship lead.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite of yesterday. I think I already had some problems in the entire day, because in the free and time practice I was feeling actually pretty good, but my lap times were not there, so I think there was already some issues. And quickly after the start in the first moto, my bike started to lose all the power in the bottom, so I couldn't make the jumps anymore. And after 2 or 3 laps, it started to make such a big noise, and it was losing all the power, so I had to go in pit lane. We tried something, but that was not the problem, and I had to finish the race with the problems, but anyway, it's better than not finishing the race. And today we took my second bike, and I was feeling so good. I took the whole shot, and I was riding. I defended the line, yeah, because I want to win and take this red plate home.
Great day. Thanks, Nancy. Third overall, we have Daniela Guillen. Daniela, 2 third-place finishes for you. A solid weekend under tough conditions to get your first podium of the season.
Yes, I'm so happy for this podium. I training so hard for do this, and I do it. So I'm very happy, and now we go to Spain and we see.
Thanks, Daniela.
Third overall for Daniela Guillen. She arrived here for the first time this season in the World Championship. Not sure the reasons why, but she wasn't in Italy, wasn't in Portugal. But here, picking up a podium, her first in WMX. Congratulations to her. Second overall, and the new championship leader, Nancy van der Ven, the Ceres 71 Yamaha rider, making up for the disappointment of yesterday where she finished 6th. To bounce back with a win in race 2, to take second overall and the championship leader's red plate. But for Shana van der Vlist, a win and a second. The overall Grand Prix belongs to her for the second time in her career, her 4th career podium. She is still very much in the fight for the championship. She sits in 3rd place. Next stop will be Spain in 2 weeks' time. Congratulations to all the girls that made it on the podium today. Shana van der Vlist, Nancy van der Ven and Daniela Guillen. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at 11:25, so about an hour from now for EMX 250 Race 2. We'll see you then.
ritrovarsi in pista i protagonisti del campionato del mondo della classe MX2, la classe cadetta del motocross mondiale. Per loro 15 minuti di warm up, soltanto una piccola presa di contatto con il tracciato sardo del Riola Sand per vedere cosa è cambiato rispetto alla giornata del sabato, quindi daremo lettura dei tempi che rimangono assolutamente indicativi, non hanno nessun valore per quello che riguarda la classifica assoluta, tantomeno la posizione dietro al cancelletto, già ben delineata dopo la manche del sabato. Manche del sabato, lo ricordiamo per chi ieri non fosse presente, vinta in maniera perentoria da un Jago Gerz scattato velocissimo al comando, poi aiutato anche dalla scivolata in partenza di Tom Vial, che non ha potuto far meglio della quinta posizione dopo una gara tutta quanta in rimonta. Jago Gerz ha regolato il suo compagno di squadra Thibaut Bennistat, terza la Kawasaki numero 24 FNH di Kevin Ordmo, quarta la Gas Gas del tedesco Simon Lagenfelder, poi appunto la KTM di Tom Vial, ancora KTM quella di Conrad Muse. Il nostro Andrea Adamo era in quinta posizione pronto ad attaccare Conrad Muse, poi purtroppo una piccola scivolata nel corso dell'ultima tornata gli ha fatto perdere 2 posizioni. Michael Arrup ottavo, Liam Evers in nona posizione dopo essere scivolato anche lui nelle prime battute di gara, ha recuperato fino a un'ottima nona posizione. Decimo Kevin Bruman, poi Rubini, Karlsmakers con Jan Pankar, non è violata, 15esimo da Olson, Ricci, Fredriksen, Terezak, il Polak che purtroppo ha preso per un piccolo problema. Dopo la sabbia profonda del Riola Sand, quindi 52,8 per lui. Intanto ancora un primo settore record per il pilota Yamaha con Podium in seconda posizione 1,53,2. Isaac Lifting in terza piazza con 1,54,0, poi Rubini 1,54,6, Kevin Ormo 1,54,7, Liam Evers 1,54,8, Simon Lagenfelder 1,54,8 anche per lui, poi Benistat, Karsmakers e Fredriksen a completare la provvisoria top 10, 14esimo Tom Vial, 15esimo Valerio Lata, mentre per il momento Andrea Adamo è fuori dalle primissime posizioni, starà sicuramente cercando qualche settaggio sulla sua moto, sulla sua gas con motore factory. E intanto Iago Gerz, record nel primo settore, record nel secondo settore, quindi sta già spingendo forte il pilota Yamaha, leader, tabella rossa di questo campionato del mondo della classe MX2. Lo attendiamo tra pochissimi istanti allora quando comparirà davanti alla nostra postazione, se non avrà mollato. Andiamo a vedere curva giro 1,52. Arriva intanto Andrea Adamo in questo istante che si porta in settima posizione dopo aver fatto ad andatura ha iniziato a mettere il turbo e ferma il cronometro in 1,54,4 che gli vale la settima posizione di questo warm-up dopo aver fatto il record nel secondo settore, ha dovuto chiudere probabilmente per un piccolo errore ed ora ci riproverà, ma sicuramente il feeling è quello buono. Lo scorso settembre proprio Piariola Sardo centrò una doppietta 1-1 che lo rilanciò in classifica, ma purtroppo poi dovette cedere lo scettro a Maxime Renault, il titolo di Alto di Trento. Intanto Stephen Rubini e Akon Fredriksen record nel secondo e terzo settore, stanno provando sicuramente la pista, le traiettorie sportive, una pista che conoscono molto bene visto che è stato teatro di profondi allenamenti invernali, una pista sempre molto difficile, tecnica e insidiosa anche per i piloti più esperti. E intanto Fredriksen continua a spingere forte, molto forte nel terzo settore. Tra pochi istanti, quando comparirà davanti alla nostra votazione, adesso istanti il gioco della volta 427. Intanto Podium, quinto ordine con Fredriksen che arriva in questo istante, si porta in seconda posizione appena 2 dal giro più veloce di Iago Gerz, quindi 52,5 per Gerz, 1,52,8 per Fredriksen, 1,53,2 per Podium, poi 53,3 via me, 53,6. Per il momento sono quel Ricci sta procedendo lentamente in questo momento quando mancano 4 minuti alla conclusione di questo warm-up mattutino. Non sta assolutamente cambiando niente, che arrivano appaiati e Andrea Adamo, come vediamo ultimamente il portacolori più rappresentativo del campionato del mondo della classe MX2 vedrà di rubare con gli occhi qualche traiettoria al ben più esperto pilota francese, nonché già campione del mondo nel 2020. Ed ora siamo alla curva Monster Energy con Tom Vial, piccolo errore in uscita dove salta il mono, il posteriore, si va da Sardegna con Andrea Adamo alle sue spalle. Diamo un'occhiata al primo intertempo, vedremo cosa ci dirà il cronometro. Record nazionale per Andrea Adamo, record personale anche per Podium. Ora vediamo il corso cronometrico anche nel secondo settore, sta arrivando anche Valerio Data, una new entry per il campionato del mondo della classe X2. 17ª posizione, risale in 14ª, 1.57.1 per il giovanissimo laziale del team MXGP. Il forte di Tobial e di Andrea Adamo con Iago Gerz che ha fatto il record del sta arrivando alla curva FMF, quindi anche Iago Gerz arriva in questo istante. Iago Gerz 1.52.724, Liam Evers 1.52.733, appena 9 millesimi più lento della tabella rossa, quindi un tempo veramente importante per il figlio d'arte Becca la tabella anteriore. Tobial che ha mollato e Andrea Adamo che arriva in questo istante e si porta in ottava posizione, 1.54.0 per il giovane siciliano di nascita romagnolo da con oramai una stagione sulle spalle nel campionato del mondo di motocross, una speranza in questo trofeo ridato. Manca un minuto e mezzo alla conclusione e con Iago Gerz ancora una volta davanti a tutti con un 1.51.7 veramente importante. Liam Evers 1.51.733, lo ripeto, appena 9 millesimi più lento del leader di questo campionato. Liam Evers con il quarto posto, gara 1 ha avuto una carica di adrenalina e ora un tracciato dal fondo sicuramente amico e adatto alle caratteristiche del giovanissimo pilota. Sicuramente ben figurare, dovrà sicuramente un po' rivedere le partenze dove purtroppo spesso la moto, ma avrà sicuramente qualcuno in casa che saprà consigliarlo nel migliore dei modi.